Okay, good evening, everybody. Ladies and germs, welcome. Today, we're going to have a light discussion, guys, about beauty standards. I can see you guys are already twerking in the chat. Um, yes, Christy, you finally made it for a live. As an ugly woman, I'm here to learn how to be confident, period. Ugly is a mindset, not a look, period. Shout out to Themis and Thoth, copyright, copyright. Um, so, yeah, we're going to have a light discussion about beauty standards, confidence, and some other things. As you probably already know by the title and thumbnail of the video, we have a very special guest today, and I will introduce them after my intro. Hello.
Hi.
So, for anyone who is unaware, this is Kivanna. Want to make sure I'm pronouncing that right?
It's Kivanna. Yeah, close enough.
Kivanna. This is Kivanna. She's a YouTuber. She made a video that I really enjoyed called How to Be Ugly and Confident, where she spoke about the topics that I mentioned earlier, beauty standards, self-confidence, and some other things. Her channel in the video that we'll be talking about is in the description for anyone who wants to follow or watch after this. It'll be over there. So I wanted to ask a few starter questions just to get to know you a little bit better before the topic. Would you like to tell us a little about yourself? Like, do you have any hobbies, go to school, anything like that?
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Kivanna. I'm 21. I'm from Cali. I live in a non-existent town. Like, nobody knows about it, which is perfect because I suffer from social anxiety. So, like, being in the middle of nowhere is perfect. Hobbies, I would say my hobby is YouTube, but like now it's starting to pick up. So I guess I can kind of turn this into like a lifestyle or like a career or whatever, which is fine. Like that's kind of what I manifested in the first place. Not in school. I dropped out because I hate school. I think it's irrelevant. Now that I graduated high school, like I feel like anything outside of that, especially because I want to pursue a career in like content creation, I feel like I don't need a degree for that. So yeah, I'm just a loner. I talk to my phone and I just share my ideas. And one of my videos blew up. That's really just how we're here today.
Do you think you'll ever go back to school in the future?
Most definitely, yeah. I want to go for marketing. I'm really good at like slogans and like naming stuff. So definitely I will go back eventually, but not anytime soon.
Okay. So how did you get started on YouTube? Was it just like kind of a random day and you wanted to record, or?
It literally, like, I'm gonna tell you the process. I literally went to sleep. I don't even remember what day I posted that video. I think it was like a weekend, if I'm not, hopefully I'm right. But whatever day I posted it, the day before, I was like, I had the idea in my head, but it was just like a couple like bullet points in my head. And then I started filming, and that all the ideas just kind of came to me. That's why you see me, I'm like stuttering. I'm repeating the same thing because it was really just like off the dome. I just posted the video on a fluke and it blew up. Literally.
So what is your goal for your channel? Well, if you have one.
My goal now, well, it is to become a beauty influencer, but also really just to like help people, show like how I built my confidence, my whole like spiritual journey, and just I guess inspire along the way.
And who is your audience? Or as who are you speaking to when you make these videos? Are you speaking to society? Are you speaking to Black women, to women and men? Or do you have anybody in mind when making your videos?
Um, I don't know. I think my process is kind of weird. Now that you said that, you give me more ideas, but I definitely am speaking to, I guess you could say society and Black women, but most importantly, I'm speaking to like my inner child. I'm talking to, I feel like my YouTube channel is going to be how I heal my inner child and like learn to grow and just grow into my own person and be my own like woman, you know?
When it comes to speaking to and healing your inner child, what do you mean by that?
Like I'm very vulnerable on my channel. Like I'm always talking about my insecurities and like the origins of why like I make my videos. And I guess like because I went to therapy and like my therapist told me to be open and like talk, and the only way you can heal is if you get your thoughts like out. Like he encouraged me to talk to people. He encouraged me to talk to myself, to journal, just like take walks to just clear my mind and stuff. So I'm like, I can just combine all of that with YouTube, you know, kind of kill two birds with one stone, if essentially.
That's really interesting. Do you ever worry that, like, when it comes to being vulnerable online, do
Hmm.
you ever have like a concern that you might be vulnerable to the wrong audience? Like I saw a comment on my channel today, and it was like, "This is the stupidest take I have ever heard in my life. You should not have a microphone." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
that's like
Oh
that's a
my.
way to start my Saturday. But yeah, you ever worry about like the
Oh my
wrong
goodness.
vulnerability coming back to bite you?
Yes, 100%. Like, I'm an overthinker. I'm always in my head. Like, nobody can be meaner to me than I am to myself. So it's kind of easy to brush it off. But I definitely do worry about, like, the wrong type of people seeing my videos and getting the wrong, like, perspective or, like, opinion of me. But then again, I'm just like, I'm a Leo. I don't care.
Have you gotten any negative feedback, or is it mostly positive?
Mostly positive. Like, it was a huge weight. Like, check the comments. The love and support is crazy, and I appreciate it 100%. But there are some people who, like I said, didn't get the memo, and they misinterpreted what I said, and their response is like completely left field of what I was talking about in the point of the video. So, but like, that's, if anything, that's just kind of what comes with it. Like, not everybody's going to understand you and resonate with what you say. So you just kind of you have to accept all of the aspects. You can't be like, I want to do this. You can't accept the good without the bad. You have to accept all of it. It's
I
all a
don't want
learning
the bad.
process anyway.
I don't want the bad at all. I don't accept it. I only accept the goodness. Um,
Of course not. But it's going to make you grow at the end of the day. That's what I want to do with my channel, is just grow. I call my YouTube channel my time capsule, because you're going to see me grow up. You're going to see me mature in my mentality. Just the person that I am is going to change over the years. So,
okay. So to kind of move into the main topic, your video, how to be ugly and confident. What invoked you to make the video, and why did you title it that way?
I don't know. That's so funny. Honestly, I really don't know. Like I said, it was just I just had an inclination to film a video. Like, I'm a very intuitive person, and my intuition just told me, "Girl, make a video." I made the video, I posted it, and here we are. But why I titled it that video, or why I titled it that, was just honestly clickbait. Like, I was really good at English in high school, so I was really good at writing essays. I know how to draw people in and get their attention. And that's exactly what I did with the title. I just knew that it was going to get people's attention, whether they liked it or not. So,
Well, look, come and help somebody out, because I've been writing a script for like 4 months for a video.
oh my
Have you
God, I
heard
would
of
love to
the
help
the
you.
HBO? Have you heard of the HBO
Yeah.
program? The program.
Oh, no, no, I haven't heard that. What's that?
Help a brother out.
I would love to. Oh my God, I would love to.
Okay, but regarding, I wanted to talk about some of the specific ideas in your video. We could watch the video if you would like to. I think it's around 9 minutes long, but I would prefer people go to your channel and watch it there. We don't steal content from Black women over here. So
That's perfectly fine.
I just wanted to talk about some specific ideas in the video regarding what you said about faking it till you make it. You said you do this through positive affirmations, for example. Oh, my hair
Mhm.
looks good today. My skin looks good today. And you said it felt stupid, but your internal perception at some point changed and you believed what you were saying. Basically, you learned how to value your own opinion, you said. Do you want to
Yeah.
elaborate on that further?
Like, I just realized that I realized that, like, everything starts in your mind. Like, whatever you think, you become your thoughts, essentially. Like, if you constantly think negative stuff about yourself, you're going to feel that, you're going to live it, you're going to be it. So if you change the way you speak to yourself, like, I don't know if it was a TikTok, a Twitter, it was some post on social media. And it was just like, talk to yourself the way you would talk to like a 6-year-old or a 4-year-old, like your 4-year-old niece. Like, you wouldn't call your niece ugly, so why are you calling yourself ugly? Like, speak to your inner child. And I realized that every time I insulted my 21-year-old self, I was essentially critiquing and being rude to my 4-year-old self, my 6-year-old self, et cetera, et cetera. So I just learned to be nicer to myself, and it paid off. Like, I genuinely feel better.
Okay. Do you worry about someone doing this and building an ego? Do you ever worry that you might get a big ego?
um I mean, I
Or
feel like I
rather, how
can.
about, let me rephrase the question. How do
Right.
you prevent yourself from getting a big ego while still gassing yourself up?
Yeah, that's something that I'm honestly struggling with. I really just feel like you have to. Well, from I'm not gonna say you. I'm not gonna speak general. I'm just gonna speak for myself. I feel like how I essentially humble myself is really just remembering like where I came from. Like, why am I even doing this in the first place? Like I call it my character development. Being bullied for the things that I was bullied for growing up. Like, it's all what made me get to this point. Like, it was all stepping stones in my story and my path. So I just kind of use that to, like I said, keep myself in check. Like, don't get too big headed just because you feel better now. Like, you were once this very insecure person who like hated everything about themselves, who critiqued everything about themselves, and now you've obviously turned to you made progress, but like I still have a long way to go. So I feel like just keeping myself in check and realizing that I'm not better than anybody just because I love myself now. Like, it's all a process.
I mean, would it be bad to have an ego?
I mean, I feel like it all depends on how you like use it and how you manipulate your ego. If your ego does good or if it does bad.
Well, I'm thinking of the phrasing you use, like the idea that the conversation is about um, being called, I guess, conventionally ugly by society. And now you're using the term, oh, well, to keep my ego in check, sometimes I do this or that to humble myself. I feel like this might in my mind, this would be like a difficult balance to keep. And I'm wondering, is it even
Oh my God,
necessary to keep
contradiction.
a humble yourself mindset when doing something like this?
I feel like in in today's society they're gonna do that anyway. So I feel like, and like I said earlier, I'm more like critical of myself than anybody could be to me, regardless. Um, but I feel like if you don't, somebody else will. So why not just, and I'm always poking fun at myself. Like, I'm always laughing at myself anyway. So I really don't take myself too seriously to really even get my ego to like a, insatiable like level. But I don't know. I would say that it's good to have a balance of like, yeah, you can feel yourself. But I don't know. I think it's a difference between having an ego really and like feeling yourself. I don't really know. Like, I could
So,
go on and on.
so how do I know? Do you think there's ever a such thing as too much positive affirmation? Like, is there ever a point where you feel like maybe this might get in the way of self improvement? If I'm chubby, maybe, and I want a slimmer frame, is that something where I should be like, well, no, I should love myself as is? Or should I work for that slimmer frame? Or maybe I'm skinnier and I want a larger frame, or maybe I don't like my hair texture and I want to change it. How do I know when this is healthy self love versus how do I know when staying the same is healthy self love versus maybe like the societal impact you talked about?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I would just say, wow, I don't know. I would just say if it comes from a place of like, I'm doing this, whatever, I'm investing in my appearance, that's what I call it. I'm doing this for me. Like, I'm doing it to heal my inner child. I'm doing it because I know that I'm confident in my choice making, that I'm going to do this 100% for me. Like, if I was to delete all of my social media right now, I know that me doing this decision is going to make me feel better forever, not just for the sake of social media. That's how I describe it or like define it.
I think you spoke in your video about a world where there is no social media. Um, could you talk a little bit about that? I'm looking for it now.
Um, what video was that? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was something like you have to consider what would you do if Instagram was deleted tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, I just thinking back to the point of the question that you just asked me. Like, I just feel like in today's society, especially like with like speaking on current beauty trends, like we know that pretty privilege can pretty much change your life. Um, I feel like if you're somebody who wants to invest in yourself just for the sake of social media, like what would you do if there was no Instagram, if there was no TikTok, if there was no outlet for you to go viral just for how pretty you are? Like, what would you still feel the same way? Would you still have these ideas of wanting to change yourself if social media didn't exist? Like that was the whole point.
Okay, you know what it was? I think it was one of the self care laws.
It was. I think it was. Yeah,
So
you're right.
let's go through those actually, and we'll get
Okay.
back to that because I do want to talk about that one. But the first one was you cannot call anyone ugly, period. Why
Yes.
can't I?
I feel like, because my personal definition of ugly has nothing to do with outer appearance. It has to do with the person that you are. You can buy a new face. Plastic surgery exists. You can buy whiter teeth. You can buy prettier hair. You can buy, things that improve your outer appearance. You can't buy a better soul. You can't buy a better mindset, a better spirit, a better aura. So I just define ugly as the type of person that you are. You can change the type of person that you are. You can't change what you can, but like you can't really change overnight what you look like. You can change your spirit and the person that you are.
So when you're saying this, you're saying that we should be judging people on their character and their
A
personality.
hundred percent. 100%. Yes.
But we can call people's personality ugly.
You can call their personality disgusting and all of the adjectives, but when it comes to physicality, I don't believe that's even like accurate to say.
Okay. Your second self-care law, I agree, by the way. Well, I don't, yeah, I agree. I think I agree. Your second law was follow people who look like you.
Yeah, like representation is important, especially as Black women, especially as dark skinned Black women. I know that we're pretty much, well, I wouldn't say we're not at the totem pole, or we're not at the bottom of the totem pole anymore. I feel like now, especially on TikTok, it's a trend to like dark skinned girls and like, you know, pander to the whole dark skinned community now. But like in earlier years, especially in like, I want to say like 2012 to like 2015, um being dark skinned was like an extreme sport, damn near. Like nobody was really checking for us. So I feel like following a bunch of people, like I said, I followed a lot of white people in high school, the Kardashians, Amber Chamberlain, every single light skinned white or racially ambiguous like Instagram model who didn't look like me. She didn't have the same hair type, she didn't have the same features, like she just didn't look like me physically. And I believe that in order for me to feel beautiful about myself, I had to look like her in some form or fashion. So I feel like following people who look like you physically will, well, not will, but can help you feel better.
Yes, you said you started following people who look like you and to find women who resemble not just your race, but maybe your facial structure, skin tone, body shape. Um, you
Yes, all
know,
of the aspects.
hmm?
I said yes to all of the aspects, all of the aspects of pretty privilege, or just the beauty standard in general, really.
Not only but mainly. Do you think so? In regards to this, do you think there has to be a loser when it comes to beauty standards? You said that being dark skinned was damn near an extreme sport. So do you think it's realistic that there's a world in the future where we all get along, or does someone have to be on the top and the bottom?
I feel like it's, unfortunately, I just feel like the world we live in is only going to get worse, especially with the advancements of technology. I feel like there probably is forever going to be a totem pole, and there's going to be people who are highly favored and people who are forgotten about. And that's unfortunately, that's just the world that we live
You're boring a little bit. Can you hear me?
in. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were zoop
Oh my
bopping a
God.
little bit.
Shit. Is my Wi-Fi going out?
Well, it was fun while it lasted. um, I guess I'll entertain the audience. We'll have a short
No,
intermission.
am I
Oh,
back?
never mind. Hello.
Am I back? I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi is trash, like complete garbage.
Do you have a Patreon we can donate to that maybe we can do something about this?
This Wi-Fi. I don't even know what Patreon is. I don't know how to use it. I don't know anything about. All I have is YouTube and TikTok and Instagram.
Okay, we'll get you set up after this live stream.
No,
We
thank
can't
you.
have this out here happening. Um, but I will put your channel in the description if people want to go over, support, leave a like, watch your videos. Just for we gonna get the monetization up. We got to. But regarding what you were just saying, you think someone will always be on the bottom of, well, you think there'll always be a totem pole, so there will always be someone on the bottom.
Unfortunately, yeah. especially because we're moving towards like a mixed race like future. I feel like there will definitely be people who are, not as favored as people who are favored. That's just the truth.
In your ideal world, who's at the top of the totem pole? Do you hear me?
um I would say like white people mostly. This is a white country. Um
Wait, wait,
but
wait, 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 wait,
I would
wait,
say
wait.
in more recent time, probably like the racially ambiguous, whether you are or you either are or as you present racially ambiguous. I feel like either one of the two will like suffice, but mainly white people and racially ambiguous. I feel like are at the top.
I think you're borging out a
Hold
little
on,
bit.
you're cutting out. Oh my god, don't do this Wi-Fi.
Not a struggle stream.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, so my question was,
Can you hear
in
me?
your ideal world, who do you think should be on
Oh
the
my
top of the
god, it keeps
totem
going in and
pole?
out. I hate this
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
I just want to reiterate the question. I'm gonna have to ask it again once you get settled because I did not say who's on the top in your ideal world, and you said white people. I must have misheard.
Oh, I think I misheard the question. Okay.
Christina said I can change my body with this BBL. Um, I'm going to get period. We're going to be using the word period a lot today. Take care of her. Yeah. Make sure y'all, let me put the banner back on the screen. Make sure y'all go
Oh my
over.
god, I forgot about this whole comment section.
She's Kivanna. Not you have a upstairs and a downstairs. I'm jealous.
Oh my
I'm
god, you can
actually
see that
jealous.
deal. This is my mother's house. This is not my house.
I'm
My
still
mother
jealous.
has the upstairs and downstairs.
So to ask the question again regarding the totem pole, that you say there is always going to be a top and bottom, or at least it seems like that for the foreseeable future. In your ideal world, who's on the top of that totem pole?
Black women, of course. As a black woman, why wouldn't I put us at the top in
So you're
my ideal world?
okay. So you're. I think you have like an individualistic way of thinking. Do you think so?
Probably, yeah.
Do you think there are higher standards for Black women in society?
100%. And I feel like I don't know. I think there's like I think it's a good thing. I feel like why should we be mediocre? We should expect more of ourselves. We should want more for ourselves. I want more for our black women.
When I say higher, so when you say higher standards, do you mean within the community or externally or both?
I say both, but I try to stay within the community.
Petty, can you let me know if you do an open panel? I have questions. We will be opening the panel maybe in around 10 to 15 minutes. I wanted to get through a couple of things more. But you said there are higher standards, and you think this is good because it will, I guess, inspire us to not be mediocre.
Yes.
So I feel like, and you can push back on this, of course. I feel like a higher standard being required would lead to the opposite. The stuff that you said about, the stuff you said today about the fact that you have to curate your social media so as not to have um, these different or sometimes unobtainable standards of beauty on your news feed, preferring to have people who look like you. The ideas around Instagram or social media in general, I think, show that when women use Instagram and stuff like this, depending on who they follow, it can do a number to their self image and their self esteem. So, in my mind, we would live in a world with no beauty standards. I really don't care how people look, but
Yeah, that's a really good like. Yeah, that's a more idealistic world. Is no beauty standard at all.
But you think it would help if we had higher? I feel like it would do literally the opposite. You don't think so?
I mean,
Or it's not that I think it would do that. It's that I think it's the fact that Black women have a higher standard to meet than I guess other races of women and men. I feel like is bad.
yeah, it's definitely unfair. Like the the ridiculous amount of pressure that we that are put on us every day. But at the same time, just speaking from personal experience, I'm a person who I don't really crack under pressure. If anything, I double down and like I can work better under pressure. So I feel like I don't know. Maybe in some people could say that they're a little bit more resilient when there's like more odds stacked against them because it's like I don't know. I like to prove people wrong, especially white people. I love to prove that I love when people doubt me and I can prove them wrong. So the having the higher standards for Black women doesn't bother me because it's like if you want to put X, Y, and Z on top of me, I'm going to show you why I can do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3 all at once and still have a smile on my face. That's the way I see it.
So as a personal view for yourself, I actually think that's fine. I don't want things to be harder for me, but I think if things are harder, it does make me work harder. I think I just have that type of spirit in me. But as a prescription to the entire Black woman community, do you feel that that's fair?
Not at all. No, not at all.
Do you feel that it's good?
As a whole, no, 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 no.
Okay, so
It could be very detrimental.
I think we were miscommunicating, but I think we agree.
Yeah.
In my mind, yeah, it's going to be. It's like even when you describe, okay, in the face of adversity, I'm just going to overcome. I think that's fine, and I actually think that's a good mindset to have. But I wouldn't call the adversity good, and I wouldn't think it's good. Like I feel like I would do that without adversity. Like I think I would do well without adversity, and I would prefer there not to be a barrier, even if I can overcome that. If that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Maybe I'm just used to always having to prove myself. It's kind of like second nature to me.
Also regarding the beauty standard kind of discriminating against Black women, when you are speaking, I guess to Black women, there was a portion in your video where you spoke about the fact that, oh, if you have phenotypically Black features, if you're a Black woman especially, then this is really going to bear down on you. And of course, you said being dark skinned was an Olympic sport in the past. Do you ever, when you're prescribing this rhetoric to Black women, I don't think it's a bad rhetoric, by the way, to love yourself, to self-care, to follow people who look like you, to uphold your beauty as a standard. Do you ever, I spoke in another live stream about the fact that Black women face real consequences for the beauty standard. Wearing natural hair at work, for example. I think there's a little echo, if you could turn me down in the background. But if you wear natural hair, I know is a really popular example in the workplace. You can face the consequence of being fired. You could be disciplined, you could be demoted, or otherwise face reprimation for your hairstyle. And I think up until recently, the Crown Act passed. I'm not sure when it passed. It might not have passed, actually, so let me not say that. But
I think it did. I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, so up until then, it's been legal for an employer to discriminate against you and say that your hair, on the basis of being Black, of being kinky and coily, for ABC hair, they can discriminate against you in the workplace legally until recently, which they'll probably still do that even after the act passes if it's anything like affirmative action or equal opportunity. So is this a fair risk for Black women to take? Or to ask Black women to take?
Overall, I would say no. Like taking myself out of the equation, because like I said, I do benefit from like texturism and stuff. Taking myself out of the equation and like looking outside of myself, I would say no. Because just based off what you said about like the real consequences of like embracing your real natural features, like yeah, I would say no. I still encourage it, but like there's real life consequences to this shit.
So how do you function in a world like this? How do we push the needle on the beauty standard for Black women to be more included and less discriminated against if there are consequences? Is it going to be a loud minority like yourself who aren't afraid? Like, are you ever afraid of like, oh, I might be fired or I might be discriminated against because of my hair texture or something like that, and you just don't care? Or how do you navigate that?
Like I said, I've never really dealt with that. If anything, if my hair is ever the topic of discussion, it's always spoken of in like a higher regard. You know, I'm always pedestalized for it. So I really can't really speak on that. But I will say that, like my mom, for example, she does have 4C hair and she never wears it out. She's always has protective style. I grew up with her always straightening her hair. You know, and I remember asking her, I think I was like 16, 17. I'm like, why don't you ever wear your natural hair out? Like she was washing her hair and I was like, I like when you have your hair like natural and it's like, and it's in a pretty little poof. She does her edges. Like she just looks like a real Black woman. And she was just like, because the people at work, I don't have hair like you, is literally what she said. I can't wear my natural hair to work and be okay with it. And I was just like, that really sucks. You know, I don't know a world like that. So I can't really speak, but I see people who live that lifestyle and it just hurts to see that.
Do you ever feel like sometimes the praise is almost like a fetishization? One of
A
my friends
hundred percent. 100%.
didn't even have to continue the question.
100%. I have millions of stories that I could tell where I was like chosen over someone else just simply because of my hair. No other aspect of like he liked my personality or he would find me attractive. It was just because he liked my hair texture. 100% yes.
So, as a woman, do you feel like there's a way to escape fetishization fully?
Probably not, honestly, because of ignorance. Like ignorance is everywhere, and I feel like people are so comfortable in being ignorant that it's not. You know, I would kind of just be talking to a wall if I was to sit here and try to educate everybody on why it's bad when they continue the rhetoric of good hair and shit. Like I would be talking on deaf ears and I would be talking to myself. So unfortunately, I don't think this type of mindset will ever like completely disappear. We can start to change, you know, the narrative.
Okay. Regarding, I think we got away from it a little bit, my bad, but the final self-care law, to wrap up the conversation, don't allow social media to fill your head with a false sense of security. And as we discussed that, I have opened the panel now. The link is in the comments if any of you would like to come up, give your thoughts and opinions about anything that we've discussed so far about the original video, or just ask questions to Kivanna or myself. You can now, but while they do that, I did want to talk about self-care law number 3. Don't allow social media to fill your head with a false sense of security. Let me have it. Let's go.
Yeah, I just feel like, especially with benefiting from certain aspects, social media can definitely gas you up and give you that ego. And I feel like if you don't check it, if you listen to if you let what's the word I'm trying to find? If you let the praise and the pedestalization get to your head, it can definitely, like, you know, everything that comes up must come down, essentially. So if you fill your confidence up, if you only value yourself based off of how many compliments you get from random strangers on the internet, that's not real self-love. You're still gonna feel empty. It's like a shell, basically.
And I like that. I actually like that throughout the entire video. It's a prescription of, I think it works well together. If you maybe take a pause from social media while also working on self-care outside of that, like some of the concerns I spoke about. Well, how do you know you're not just getting in shape because of a beauty standard? How do you know you're not getting cosmetic surgery because of a beauty standard? I think within your self-care laws, there's good protection from maybe like harming yourself with one of the other laws. Remember, we spoke about how much self-care is too much. How do you know when to draw a line? Maybe if you're taking a break from social media, you know that your standard has to do with you and not necessarily comments that you're getting on certain pictures with certain filters and stuff like that. So I especially enjoyed that. Outside of that, I think that's everything I wanted to discuss regarding your video. Again, I think someone in the comments said they wanted to come up and ask you something specifically. I don't remember what it was they wanted to ask you, but the panel is open and they are welcome to. If you had any final thoughts before I went into there's a content creator named Lip Gloss. I don't think she's posted anything in a long time. Have you heard of her?
I have. I used to follow her TikTok. I think before she like deleted it, or I don't know what happened to it.
And I just feel like you are coming here to fill the space that she left void in my
Aw.
yeah. I feel like I remember her doing a video called how to handle being ugly properly. And I had the
I
same
watched
thought.
that video.
Hmm?
I watched that video. I think like the same day she posted it.
Yeah, and I remember watching your video and I was like, the ideas are similar. The I feel like maybe y'all have similar values, similar presentation. There's humor in the video. Like I actually felt like you were filling a void that was left on YouTube because Lip Gloss says she don't care about us no more. Um
She pretty much got bullied off of the internet. Like Twitter, I saw that, not saw, but Twitter, I heard that Twitter was like going crazy after she posted some video about like how she attracts white men with her natural hair more than black men or something like that. And I was just like, that's so scary.
is that true in your experience?
Um, Not really. I feel like if anything, um, I get fetishized by everybody. It really doesn't matter the ethnicity, but I feel like I get fetishized more by black men because of my hair texture. The whole good hair sentiment has followed me my literal entire life.
My friend told me, she's a black woman. She told me nothing attracts I'm trying to say this without being inflammatory, but she was like, if you want to find a rich white man, get you a bad weave or a bad wig and wear it the wrong
Oh my
way.
god. I mean, I saw that. I see a couple TikToks here and there too with the same like idea. I mean, do what you got to do if that's what you want. I mean, who am I?
I'm gonna have to do a statistical analysis around hair and discrimination and whether or not certain hairstyles are perceived differently. Maybe that can be the next video. But
They most definitely are.
outside of that, I didn't mean to compare you two, by the way. I think you're both great in your own right. I just thought that this video specifically that she made was similar. And I liked that I actually had someone who I can speak with since Lip Gloss left us. She left us. But it's okay. You're coming to take over for the 99 in the 2000. Apparently, nobody wanted to come up and speak with you. They don't want to show love. They don't care.
I wouldn't
They
say that. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. I had fun talking to you. You're very funny.
Oh, stop. Gas me up more, please. Yeah, with that being said, I think that's where I'm going to end my video. I'm going to play my intermission and then I'm going to go into an after show. Never mind, Afree's here. Hello, Afree. Okay, Afree don't care. So I'm going to play my quick intermission, then I'll go into an after show where Afree will tell us what she would like to say, and then we can I'll end there. Thank you everyone who's watched so far, and stay with us if you want to.
You really want to catch fucking 350 pounds of dude in your ass?
Of course.
Sounds like a good time.
That's a good time to me. He hop on my meeting, he start riding me. I said, Daddy, don't stop it. Look how he drop it. Just like a pilot, I'm all in his cockpit. I lick the cock tip, I let the cock drip.
Afree, you wanted to speak with Kivanna or I?
Oh my god. Go back. Okay. There we go.
I'm here. Give me a minute.
Okay. While we give her a minute, let's tackle some of the comments. We just don't like you, Petty. Yeah, my audience hate me. My audience actually do not GAF about me. They don't care. Okay, some of them sub to you. They're wishing you the best.
Oh my god, thank you. And thank you to all of these subscribers.
Some people,
much love, humbly. Thank you.
Some people at work.
Hello. Sorry for interrupting. You can finish your statement.
No, you're good.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi. Nice to meet you too.
So I miss some parts. So could you kind of in like a brief, short essay, tell me what your channel is about?
I would say my channel, kind of a whole bunch of everything. It's kind of wild right now, but I would say mostly my channel is just me sharing my experiences growing up, trying to, uh, not even trying to, let me backtrack. My channel is me sharing my experiences while showing or telling how I raised my confidence. And hopefully it kind of just inspires people along the way. Like hopefully my vulnerability will teach people, my vulnerability, my experiences, my story times, my whatever, kind of resonates with people, and they just kind of learn something, if anything.
Okay, and I probably heard this from somewhere else, but do you subscribe to Selkis Ray? You know who Selkis Ray is? Or are we
No.
name dropping? Oh, okay, okay.
A little name drop. No, I have no idea who that is. I feel like I should though. So they sound important.
Well, she's pretty much someone who has kind of used the word ugly and kind of turned it around in a way that now women are identifying as ugly and are learning how to be proud regardless of their perceived ugliness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so she has a really good way with her words, but there were like a few things I disagreed with her on, and I was wondering if you were like, I probably got the wrong idea, but I was wondering if you were familiar with her, but you're not. So I guess my question to you is that how do you feel like how do you feel about being um, a black woman, a young black woman at that in a space where you're constantly being criticized for your looks or someone is trying to monopolize off of your insecurity? I feel like that question's probably already been answered, but I would like to hear it from you if you don't mind.
No problem. How would I feel? This may sound really like kind of defeated, but I'm just kind of used to it at this point. I'm used to like proving myself. I'm used to people judging me for how I look and then getting a sense of my personality, and then they're all of a sudden in love with me now. Um, I'm just kind of something that I'm desensitized to at this point, if anything. It sucks though. I hate it. I wish that wasn't the case, but at the same time, beggars can't be choosers. You know, I didn't build this world. I just live in it. So I'm just kind of rolling with the punches. I'm learning how to become a stronger person, have a stronger mindset. And like I said in the video, like a million times, I learned to value my own opinion, really. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, so my question is, I have another question.
Okay, no
um,
problem.
One of the things about, and I brought up Selkis Ray, but one of the things about her was that, as I mentioned, she kind of empowers, quote unquote, ugly women. Um, do you think there can be empowerment for quote unquote ugly? Like if a person really sees themselves as ugly in the society that they live in, can that person still have confidence? Because that's what just pretty much what she's promoting. Uh, yeah.
Um, I would say I would say yes. I feel like just speaking off of like the comments that I received on my video, there was some people saying that like not everybody wants to be perceived as beautiful. Not everybody really cares to fit into that. So I would say, yeah, I think you can be confident while still be considered or even considering yourself as ugly, because I feel like ugly doesn't really exist. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, then ugly doesn't exist. That's my takeaway. That's my like perspective on it.
So
I hope that
I
answers the
think I like
question.
that. No, I like that response because the thing about the word ugly is that it's devaluing, right? Because like let's say for example, if someone can't tell you like you're on your game, you're on your A game in your life, and you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And I'm sorry if it's windy, guys, but you're doing everything you are supposed to be doing in your life, and someone comes along and tells you that you're ugly. What do you take from that? You That person's basically trying to devalue you or make you seem like you are worth less than what you actually are. Because that's how I interpret the word, right? So when there are certain influencers talking about empowerment behind being ugly, it doesn't really register, or I don't really understand it, because it's kind of like the N word, you know what I mean? We call
Yes.
each other the N word, right? But like, and it's supposed to be like a term of endearment, but is it really? Because you could use, I think, like throughout the day, I'm calling people the N word just because they either humored me or because they made me mad. Like, you know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense. So like, um, I'm not sure if you can be you can see yourself as ugly and still have confidence. I don't, even if you don't really value beauty, I don't see how that's like an oxymoron. You know what I mean? It's kind of like saying, well, I ain't shit, but I'm still confident in my ain't shitness. Like, what does that mean, really?
I mean, I don't know. It's to me, it's everything is all in perspective. Everybody has their own like values, their own morals, their own ideals, and I just feel like if that's how you want to regard yourself as, then it's really up to you. Like nobody can tell you that you are ugly. Nobody, I guess the same rule applies vice versa. Nobody can tell you that you aren't ugly, but I don't know. But like I said, everything starts up here. It's all a mind thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, to follow up, the idea, for example, that Black women are ugly in society, um, does that mean that a Black woman can't acknowledge this, recognize herself as beautiful, despite what society says about her being ugly, and be in that and be confident? Free. That was
Yeah,
my
like but
answer.
that's something different. So like, I'm recognizing that people are going to see you how they see you. It's something different than actually you taking on that persona. And so like, that is the problem with um certain
So
women's
correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Kivanna's interpretation isn't I accept the fact that I'm ugly and I'm okay with it. I feel like it's I reject the notion that I'm ugly because beauty is subjective. To me, I'm beautiful. And we talked in the conversation about maybe um, we can insulate ourselves as a community in regards to what we find beautiful. And what was it? Cultivating your feed so that you see people like you, maybe creating a new beauty standard and stuff like that. So I feel like in my mind, it was more of a rejection than it was an accepting that I'm ugly and just living with that.
Essentially, yeah. Like I said, beauty is subjective. You have the power to different. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak English. You have the power to define what's beautiful and what's not in your own world. I feel like you can't say as a whole spectrum that something or someone or yourself even is ugly, because it's all in the, it's all in perspective. Oh my God, we have another
I
person.
agree. I agree with that for the most part. Someone else came up. I'll let them go.
Okay, maybe we can actually talk another day about the idea of, instead of rejecting it, accepting that you're ugly and living like that. Maybe we can talk about that as a concept. But I feel like I would need to research more about what that does to a mindset, whether it's healthy or not, etc. So yeah, maybe we can talk about that or in the Discord.
Hello,
Hi,
Hi.
how are you, Geode?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome.
It's nice to meet you, Kivanna. I just want to say I do like your video a lot. I did
Thank
have a
you.
quick question. How
What's
do you
up?
feel whenever, like, I feel like with a lot of content like this, people's first like gut reaction is to say, "Oh no, but you're beautiful." Like, how does that feel when people do
That's
that?
literally 90% of the comments. And it's so funny because I just sit back and I'm like, that wasn't the point of the video. You clearly just saw the title and didn't watch or didn't receive the message of the video. But my response to that is just, if anything, I kind of take the fall on that, and I'm just like, maybe I didn't articulate myself enough to where they could understand really what I was trying to say. But then at the same time, I'm just like, no, I think I said everything as best as I could, and not everybody is going to receive the same message. You're not going to have the same takeaway. So it's kind of just up to the viewers, really.
Yeah, I feel like people, when they hear that, they kind of interpret it as, well, she thinks that she's ugly, or she's calling herself ugly.
Right. I'm like,
It's like
no,
an
it was just a
individual thing.
clickbait title.
Yeah.
Just to get your attention.
I think I'm reading the first comment on your video. It says, calling her beautiful does not do what you think it does. You've missed the message entirely. It's
Yes.
not about is she or is she not. It's about not participating at all in the conversation. Beauty does not exist. So act that way and be confident in yourself. Calling her beautiful is playing the game.
Yes. And I like that comment because I was like, you understand what I was trying to convey. I wasn't calling myself ugly just because that's the title of the video, or I may have said that in the video, like, no. And I specifically said within like the first 4 minutes, I've reached the point where I can call myself pretty, beautiful, even, end quote. And people still said, oh, but you're not ugly, you're pretty. I'm just like, that's not the point of the video. Like, you're not listening.
At that, like, I'm insulted at that point. Y'all really didn't want. Okay.
Something else I wanted to touch on earlier, when Petty asked you, like, if it could be your way, who would you have at the top of the hierarchy? You said you would put Black women up there, which is fine. But how do you feel about the notion of like just destroying it all together, just there not being a hierarchy at all?
Yeah, that would have been a better answer. But I'm going to be biased because I'm Black and we've always been at the bottom. But yeah, I would definitely like just get rid of it entirely and just have everybody. I wouldn't even say at an even playing field, just not have it be a thing at all. Just completely erase it.
I don't even think we should be like this would be like a level thing, because like there is more beauty in the world than than what we see on TV. There's more beauty than there is like words that we can make up.
Right.
And so like,
to be fair,
yeah.
I think I asked the question. I think I worded the question wrong. I think I said, in your ideal world, who's at the top? Obviously, in an ideal world, there wouldn't be a pillar. I think we all agree. What I should have said was, given that we're in a world with a pillar, who would you prefer to be on the pillar? I think that would have been better wording.
Okay, well, yeah, in that case, Black people, Black women.
Of course. Who would I like? What else? Other answer would I give? These comments are so funny.
Don't look at the comments. Don't do it. It's a trap. They still talking about.
I can't help but see, like, when someone says, like, one commenter says, "Well, my aesthetic is ugly," and she said, "Okay, my aesthetic is ugly, so I vibe with this combo." Why do you think you have an ugly aesthetic?
I mean, I think I have an ugly aesthetic, like specifically what I choose to wear, but I like it, so I wear it anyway because I find it attractive. Even though I personally find it attractive, I think I can acknowledge it that society does not find it attractive at all.
So like when people are talking, is that what they're doing pretty much? They're just acknowledging what I guess society says about or would think about them.
Yeah, haven't we talked about like my hair 16 times because y'all be like, do something, I'll be like, I really don't care, this is how I like it. I absolutely understand how society feel about it. I'm not about to play stupid, but I'm also have my own internal perception of what I like.
Right. And that to me is confidence, like being able to say fuck you to everybody who's talking shit about your hair and just be like, I like my hair. I don't care if you like it. It's on my head. Fuck off. Like that's what I define as confidence, really. Be free.
Does that answer your question, Afree?
Yeah. For some reason, I'm still dissatisfied. I'm not sure if I'm just being.
Okay.
I'm just probably being the way.
What's wrong? It's okay. Let's work it out. Let's
Because
work
it's
it out
like
quickly.
why
Let's work it out in
it's
like
like it's kind
5
of like
minutes.
it's kind of like the same thing when we have uh black people in the okay, like for example, like black people in the West. It's like we refer to ourselves as black or refer to ourselves as a type of black person based off of the world that we live in, the Western world that we live in, not based off it, and it's not originating from our own culture necessarily. And on the other hand, the dominant society, they refer to themselves as themselves, and the origins of that is from their own culture. So like, it's like, do you get what I mean? Like, so I rather not acknowledge that other people may perceive me as ugly due to my skin being black or due to whatever. I'd rather just refer to myself as beautiful if that's how I feel.
Well, I don't feel like I can live in. To me, that feels like I'm living in ignorance. We talked about the Crown Act. How can I? How can I not acknowledge the fact that if I wear a certain hair type, it is discriminated against? It's not just like discriminated against because people feel like it. It's discriminated against specifically because employers consider it ugly and unkempt and unprofessional. So I feel like I can't navigate in a world without acknowledging that. Now I reject that, but I also acknowledge that it exists. I don't want that. I don't want it to be invisible. I don't want it to exist, but while it exists, I don't want it to be visible, invisible. I want it to be acknowledged and recognized.
So to call your hair, okay, so let's say like you call your hair nappy. To call your hair nappy is in your own world would be like a defiant, uh
I call it kinky. I feel like nappy is,
kinky,
yeah.
kinky, which is like okay, kinky. So to call your hair kinky would be like a type of defiance or a type of rebellion instead of just calling your hair hair.
Instead of
You
just calling
know,
it
what I
hair.
mean? Like it's like
I
okay, like
refer,
it's a type
I
of identity that you take on instead of just calling your hair oh hair, you know, just natural human hair. You have to call it oh it's kinky hair as opposed to it's just hair. You
I
know what I
mean,
mean? And then like you know white people
I call it
or
hair. To clarify, I would call it hair unless I'm in a specific instance where I need to identify that it's kinky. Maybe if I have a hairstyle, like I live in a world where hairstylists don't know how to deal with kinky hair generally, where I live. I'm in
Facts.
a very white place. That's something that I need to specify. That's not something I feel like I should just, oh, I just have hair. What kind of hair? Just hair. Like I feel like there needs to be description in that way, or I might have
and
misunderstood
and
you.
I agree with that. But like I also think that when we're talking amongst each other as black people or whoever you are, you know, white or whatever, is that necessary?
No, I don't think so. No,
Or
not within the community. No.
so in this situation when we're talking about okay, who's ugly, who's beautiful, whatever. If you see yourself as attractive, does it really matter like who else thinks that you're ugly? And should you
No, it doesn't matter.
identify yeah, yeah, exactly. So and should you identify yourself or take on that identity as the ugly person everywhere you go in every group you go. You know what I mean? Like
I
at some
feel
point
like
you have to take that
I
off.
feel like you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Do if I find myself attractive, if I find my hair, my clothes, my style, whatever attractive, doesn't matter what other people think. I think yes, practically yes. If there has to be literally a law for me to wear my hair like this to work, yes, it does matter. Should it matter like on as far as a self-evaluation thing? No, I don't think so. I'm not going to consider myself ugly just because society does or just because society thinks my hair. No, I just want there to be acknowledgement of what exists. Like people, for example, people who aren't considered conventionally attractive are discriminated against in the employment system. They tend to be paid less. promoted less. They tend to face more discipline from a statistical perspective. I think that's something that's important to be acknowledged and understood and maybe talked about. So I can't just be like, oh, well, as long as I think I'm good, I'm good. I feel like I can do that in my personal life. I feel like we should do that in the Black community, actually, but I don't feel like we should be blind to what exists outside. I feel like if you're blind, I feel like the issue don't get addressed. Like, what if I say, we don't need a crown act, it's just hair. It's regular hair. What are you talking about?
No, like I agree because in that instance, then yes, then we do have to label ourselves, right? But I think my whole point is that I think okay, for one, as Black people, we do a lot of labeling of ourselves in comparison to other white people. And the same can be said when we're talking about people who are quote unquote unconventionally or not or excuse me not conventionally attractive.
So real
You get what I
quick,
mean?
I apologize, Kivanna. I understand you might have had a time constraint. If you do need to leave or you would like to plug yourself or anything like that, you can. I think you said you had an hour and we're at the hour mark now. But you're obviously free to stay if you have time and if you want to. But I just wanted to, I didn't want you to be up here and like out of politeness, not able to leave.
No, you're good.
Sorry,
No, you're
Kivanna.
fine. I appreciate everybody's questions. I appreciate you having me on the show. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everybody. Thank you for the comments and just the love.
Thank you. And I'll put your details in the description, of course, for people to go and find you.
Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you
Bye,
for
see you
having
later.
me. Bye.
Okay. Let me have it free. Now we can really get aggressive. We don't have company anymore. Go ahead. Let it fly. She seemed
I
nice.
forgot. What was this? What was the last thing I was saying?
You were talking about how we do this more than any other community as far as judging ourselves, and I agree with you.
Yeah. Like, Black people, yeah, that part. And I guess it coincides with that's another problem I have with certain people who want to, yeah, we do a lot of that. People who want to over label and over identify as this, that, and the third. And it's like, no, I'm just like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm Black all day. But at the same time, like when I come home, I'm just me, you know. I'm not,
It's so
yeah.
it's Lavender says it's just a basic acknowledgement of our current reality and has nothing to do with identifying as such. So maybe I'm actually, I don't know if this was directed towards me, but I think maybe I'm missing what you're saying. I don't think we should be identifying as like ugly. I don't think we should be. I don't think she was saying that either. She said she clarified in her video, and the title was just clickbait. But
It might
I'm
be me. Maybe I'm just missing the point. And I'm
I
just
like,
triggered.
think I
mhm.
think like maybe saying that you're ugly and all that is less so about like the actual adjective, like identifying, and just more of a way to describe like experiences, like how you're treated by other people and how they perceive you generally. Not
Gotcha.
not to do
Gotcha.
anything with like, oh, I'm ugly or I feel ugly or I'm, it's just a useful way to say I'm probably not like conventionally attractive.
It's just saying that I'm different.
Yeah, it's just like in a shorthanded way.
I'm also
Gotcha.
I'm also scared to remove. I don't think you have to identify with a label, but I am scared to remove labels because I fear that again, some stuff can become invisible if we remove those labels. I spoke about when Zendaya and Kiki Palmer were having an imaginary beef because people were creating it online. I was speaking about the fact that when biracial people, for example, identify as Black, this can create, in my mind, this can create an invisible discrimination. Statistically speaking, biracial and light-skinned people tend to be preferred, have a hiring bias in the employment system, for example, and in Hollywood. So if I bring that up and someone's like, "What are you talking about?" they're Black. I feel like if we don't acknowledge that there are a difference in these labels, there may be some invisible or some form of means to justify a type of discrimination that we could have maybe prevented or done something about if we do have that label. Or maybe white and Black people would have been better to say than biracial and Black. Yeah, like, what are you talking about? Discrimination against Black people in the workplace? We're all people. We don't discriminate against people. We do hire people.
True.
We,
Otherwise, people who are the people who are doing the damage would, if you don't have a word for something, you can't identify the problem, like identify it as the problem, right?
mm-hmm.
So, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then like earlier you were saying about like hair. Obviously, yeah, at the end of the day, it is just hair, but Black people hair is different and treated differently throughout society. So I think it can be useful to describe that experience to say kinky, or some people say nappy hair.
Yeah, I think even in the Crown Act, I think the act is written to be ambiguous as far as what type of hair it's talking about. But I think scholarly articles that cover that specifically point to kinky and coily hair when it comes to what's being protected with the Crown Act, which is going to be specific to Black women and Black men too. So regarding hair, how do you guys like my hairstyle today? Real quick.
Looks like there's been a little bit of breakage.
It looks fine.
I'm joking.
Yo, I don't think I've seen you before. Are you new here?
I am. This is my first time actually on any stream.
Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
I go by Surad online, Suirad. I think I commented on like your polls and stuff before, but I don't think I've ever been up here.
How are you liking the polls?
They're fun. It's cute to scroll through my tab and just answer the questions. Something to do, to think about.
I'm sorry, we're gonna pretend like Afreed and just say what she said. Why would you say that? Okay, you know what? So
I'm kidding.
When it comes to aesthetic, I don't actually care. I don't care if people comment on how I look or what I'm wearing or my hairstyle or anything like that. But when it comes to actual like hygiene, like if somebody's saying I don't like your how you do your eyebrows, I feel like it's different from someone saying your breath stinks or you're musty. Like I don't accept critique on aesthetic. I do accept critique on hygiene. So if there's some breakage, let me know, y'all, and heal me. We can heal in the Discord. We can find out what type of clay treatment to do and what type of mask. We can figure it out. Do I need to trim the split ends? I don't know what split ends are. That probably means I need to trim them. So
you don't trim it like at all?
I gotta let me look. Let's pull up something. I prayed that no one would ever see this, but now I'm going to show it to my entire audience because we're in the after show. Don't nobody watch the after show. Yeah, it's just us in here, guys. Be sure, by the way, if you guys are watching right now in the comments, to leave a like if you haven't already. It helps out the algorithm. Okay, let's take a look at this young fellow. I don't know who he is. Yeah, no, it used to be a lot more hair.
You did cut it, yeah.
Yeah, I cut out a lot, but the perm is still in there. Yes, it's still in there. The perm is still in. I don't know how much to cut. Do I just need to go bald? Y'all?
This in your relaxed era? You were growing out to be a loose natural?
That was my perm era. And at the advisement of my audience, I've decided to never do a perm again in my life.
Yeah, perms suck.
They said perms suck.
Had you been doing perms like forever before that?
No, it was my first time doing anything with my hair that wasn't from a stylist or a haircut person. So this was just me trying to do something. Did I do something? Do you guys think I did something there? Is it giving?
I'm gonna stay quiet. I'm kidding.
It stunned them to silence. Yes.
I mean, it looks fine.
It looks fun.
Looks fine. Like I don't have anything negative or positive to say.
Hmm.
It suits you though. It suits your face and everything.
Well, huh?
Not in not in a bad way. I feel like
I just feel like if I say, "Hey, how do you feel like this looks?" It looks interesting. It looks different.
I think you have a handsome face.
yeah, and I feel like it suits your like.
What-
I don't know. I don't think it's ugly. Like a lot of
It feels
people.
weird when I'm like, "How does my hair look?" Oh, your face looks nice. Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. Yeah. Say what y'all need to say. It's fine. I'll just not ask you was Perm and Petty. Perm and Petty. Yeah. I was PP. Yeah. Okay. We'll cut it off, y'all. It's an aesthetic, not an identity. We'll cut it off. With that being said, I'm going to go cry now. I have been dragged by my audience enough today. If you guys leave this live stream with nothing else, leave it with what I said earlier. My Black woman friend said that nothing will attract a white man like a bad weave or wig on a Black woman. So take that knowledge and do with it what y'all need to do.
Period.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Find a wealthy white man
and get a bad wig.
Here's Kivanna's channel again. I think she has an Instagram. It's on her channel if y'all want to follow that. I thank her for coming on. I really appreciated her time and her perspective. We're gonna have to help her get some new Wi-Fi or something. Yeah, because unacceptable. But with that being said, thank you everybody. I really appreciate you guys for coming. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next Saturday.
All right, goodbye. Nice meeting y'all.
Nice to meet you.